Biden kills Bitcoin, at least according to Ron DeSantis. This is Around the Blockchain, and we got the tea. It's going to be a great episode. Please hit that like button because we got some fantastic guests on today, folks. Starting on the bottom left, it is Firoz. Firoz about to hit the holidays, right? Who's it? UK school ending?
That's right. Half term's coming up after Croatia. So thought I'd get my episode with you guys in before I do that.
What's up with summer break? We're not farming anymore. Get with the program, school districts. Also on today, we have Sam Price. And Sam, always a good time. Are you currently in a Bitcoin trade?
Honestly, I attempted a scalp today, got kicked out, and then my exact idea actually happened. But that's what happens sometimes. So
how far apart was that stop loss? Like, was it $100, $200?
Yeah, it was like, my stop was 269, and it went down to what? It scalped down to 178. So it was like $80 off.
Okay. Also on today, we have Cassius, and hey, who knows? He might be changing that green screen in the middle of the show. We don't even know what's going to happen. But where can you get that merch you're wearing?
Man, I want to say shout out to my man AJ Wrights Crypto down there in Miami. He hooked your boy up.
Yeah, looking sharp. All right, well, let's talk about Biden killing Bitcoin. At least that's what this picture is showing. I don't know if it's real or not. Could be AI generated. This could have been taken from the front lawn of the White House. We don't know. But Ron DeSantis, he had the big, pretty successful, most would say, Twitter Spaces yesterday with Elon Musk. When I checked about 2.5 hours ago, it was already at 3.5 million listens. As I was in last night, I saw spikes around 500, 600,000 live as I was driving home. But initially, did have a little bit of scaling issues. Looks like they end up solving it at the end. But he had some quotes about Bitcoin. He has some quotes about Biden we found pretty interesting. First one, the current regime, speaking about Biden, the current regime clearly has it out for Bitcoin. And if it continues for another 4 years, they'll probably end up killing it. Firoz, will the Biden administration, if elected, will they end up killing Bitcoin?
Oh, that's a tricky one. No. No one's going to be killing Bitcoin at the end of the day. I think one of the things that we need to see here is, again, it's decentralized, it's global. There's no single entity that owns it. There's no government that can control it. So for those reasons alone, you're not going to be able to kill Bitcoin for sure. You're definitely going to be able to shut it down. And I think one of the things that we need to be mindful of, actually, and even earlier today, I was thinking about it, it's been around for 14 years now. 14 years. It survived many attacks, many threats, and it's still here. So I think, if anything, Bitcoin has shown that, obviously it grows stronger, more valuable, as we've seen over time. And you only need to zoom out and look at the chart to see that at the end of the day. So no, it's the future of money and freedom, DZ. So it ain't going to be killed.
All right. Well, not only did he come out against Biden and their stance, he also, basically solidified himself as being pro-crypto. Yeah. He had a quote, I think people, this is his phrasing, not mine. I think people should be able to do Bitcoin. As president, we'll protect the ability to do things like Bitcoin. Sam, do you do Bitcoin? And do you trust Ron DeSantis? Is he going to continue this pro-Bitcoin stance even as he gets in, peeps under the hood of what the Fed is doing, what the FDIC is doing, and what the regulators are trying to do?
I don't know if I can say that, but it sounds like Kamala Harris. It's easy to umbrella yourself. He knows it's a hot topic right now. He's jumping on Twitter, right? If you paid attention to Twitter, the Doge logo was just there, right? So if you're going to announce on Twitter, you probably should do with some friendly topics, right? That can kind of get you in. So then you can kind of put in what else you want to, talk about, get your face out there, let people know who you are. So smart what he did. I heard, Trump was trolling him. I saw a bunch of funny stuff on Twitter. It made Twitter hilarious, but it's still, he was one of the first people, one of the biggest Twitter spaces. I like it as Twitter in general. To me, it's a win for Twitter. And, I'm excited for, what he's going to call it, X or whatever, when he's changed the name. I'm just excited. I believe there's going to be streaming on there. They're already starting that subscription service, another way for creators to earn more. I think it's just another good platform that's going to continue to grow. And when he said do Bitcoin, I read it too, and I was like, come on, Ron, like that, people should be, and I could just see him, like, people should be able to do Bitcoin, but I'm pro anyone who's pro Bitcoin. Like, as long as they're doing the right thing. I'm not going to vote blindly on that. I want to see some other topics, but I want to hear this over and over again. At least we have multiple people now in the race that are talking about being pro Bitcoin. That's better than what we had 4 years ago. So I'm super optimistic. And I'm just excited for the future. I want to hear more of this rhetoric from more politicians.
Yeah, on the slight chance it's RFK versus DeSantis, we would have two pro-Bitcoin candidates on either side. That'd be really great to see. We do have a super sub chat from Beft Up. Appreciate it. Smash the like button, people. We're at 84. I think we can get to 100 pretty quickly. And also, Coors Lightyear, I think you have the best quote. Bitcoin does me. Hey, that's how I feel sometimes, at least on the red candle days. All right, Cassius, will a pro-Bitcoin candidate be enough to stop the regulators from harming the crypto ecosystem?
Well, hopefully, first of all, I want to say this is amazing that on this level, on this stage, that presidential candidates, one of their talking points is Bitcoin. I mean, could you imagine that in the previous elections? That's just a win right there for Bitcoin. So first of all, I think that's just a great thing that they're going to be talking about in the mainstream now. If that becomes one of the main issues, that would be amazing. I don't know if I agree with Ross that Bitcoin's not going to be killed regardless. So the fact that a pro-Bitcoin person, if they get into the White House, I think that will only help regulation. I don't see how that can hurt it. I mean, that's only going to be a good thing. If anything, he's going to be appointing people who you would think usually are politically aligned with their ethos. So the question is, will he remain in that stance if he wins the election? And will he be against CBDCs once he's part of the federal government? That remains to be seen.
All right, well, let's go around the blockchain here. Cassius, I'm going to put you to an answer, a yes or no, maybe one or two sentences if you want to explain yourself. He has came out as a anti-CBD president. He has a quote here. If I'm president, we are not doing a central bank digital currency. Yes or no? Cassius, do you trust him?
No.
Okay. Okay. Sam, do you trust him?
No, I believe he means what he says, but I don't trust what he says.
Okay. All right. And Firoz, just to reiterate one more time, if I'm president, we are not doing a CBDC. Firoz, do you trust him?
It's a no. It's a politician at the end of the day, so the answer's a no.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, maybe those federal regulators will say, no, I don't think so. You're going to vote our way. It remains to be seen. But hey, big shout out to Elon. A lot of people simultaneously. It was a little hiccup, a couple speed bumps in the beginning, but I listened to it this morning. Went pretty smooth in my opinion. Great job, David Sachs. All right. Well, let's talk about a little reversal here. I'm talking about a crypto reversal from none other than China. That is right. They famously banned crypto in 2021. Well, they came out and they had something on the Chinese Central Television. This is a state-owned media operation. And CZ from Binance, the CEO of Binance, he even tweeted out the clip where they were showing Bitcoin and even showed a couple meme tokens. There's some stuff on Solana as well. CZ and others, they're claiming this is a very, very big deal. Previously, when they have shown Bitcoin has led to, potential bull runs in the past. However, that remains to be seen if that's going to happen this time. But less than 24 hours later, they had pulled that clip from all their platforms online. To their credit, China is far ahead, but only with CBDCs, not so much with Bitcoin there. Now, Firoz, CZ, others, they're calling this a big deal. To you, is this a big deal? Do you think this will change Hong Kong regulators' viewpoints, China's viewpoints? What is this to you, though?
No, I don't think it will. I mean, you've got to treat them as two different things. What's happening in Hong Kong doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to also then translate into China. I mean, if you kind of think about it, they pull the segment because ultimately they realize it's inconsistent, right? It's inconsistent with the official stance that China has on crypto. And so, and again, if you've got a media state-owned central television service doing that, going against pretty much, their stance, it kind of shows that really, it was more of a lapse or a misjudgment. Maybe somebody got fired for having that on there in the first place. So I don't think it's a huge deal personally. But also, as we've always seen with crypto, there's clearly a narrative at play. And so this, I would say, is independent of what's happening in terms of Hong Kong versus China. But the narrative is going to be, oh my God, all the Chinese cryptocurrencies are going to start exploding because come 1st of June, somebody's going to be pushing out the whole sort of speech that, yep, China's allowing crypto. But actually, it's Hong Kong and it's for professional investors, from what I understand. So there is still a certain bit of regulation behind it. But again, I think this is a great opportunity if you are looking to, scalp something, then watch some of the Chinese cryptocurrencies. I don't know, Tron, Neo, what else comes to mind?
Conflux.
CFX, I think. Yeah, Conflux. That's always a popular one. That always tends to do a good one. So again, I think, use the narrative, play on it, but I don't think it's a really huge deal, in all honesty.
Yeah, and just for, I was looking at Conflux's price. It is up 10x from where it was just a few months ago. So, maybe be careful before you YOLO in. Don't be someone's exit liquidity there. All right, well, Sam, Firoz, he's bringing up some good points. Hong Kong, it's kind of for foreign investors. They took it down, maybe because they're inconsistent here. Do you see this as a potential reversal in the car? Is this like the first domino that's falling here? Or really, is there nothing to be gleaned from this and they're still going to want to ban Bitcoin for the foreseeable future?
I think it's exciting. I think there's going to start a little bit of a buzz, bring some more investors in. Even when they did ban Bitcoin, weren't they? They were still somehow mining, deep in the jungles or something. I don't know. People were still somehow doing something in China, So like, you can never stop someone who's smart, technologically advanced, and knows how to get what they want, right? So now that it's in Hong Kong, you're going to see a lot of people open up, and they're probably already starting to open up. There's probably words through the grapevine already that this was going to start happening. What I see, it's more exchanges. And it looks a little regulatory too, though. When you read the article and you dive into it, it's also saying that if you're an exchange now and you don't fall, you have to apply for a new license now. So there is like a new license too. So it seems free too as well, but it's a little more regulatory too as well. It seems like it will protect the consumer. That's what they'll try to do to make sure that exchanges have at least, and they say they're going to actually look at if they are not commingling funds, stuff like that. They're trying to look out for the people as they started off. I mean, again, that's always the intention, but does it ever happen? And it's funny. I was looking at Conflux right now. It's funny. If you want me to just share, I just had to look.
I do see a potential breakout. It looks like maybe a little bit of a, on the larger time frames, a little bit of a pennant forming here. But I did want to share. It is up 10x.
Inverted head and shoulder there. Yeah. A little, maybe just for a stick out 10%, 20%, something nice. Or nothing at all. Not financial advice at all. Just something.
All right. Yeah. I don't know enough about the underlying smart contract languages. Is it in Cantonese or something? There might be some bullish case scenarios there, but do your own research, folks. Don't just listen to us. And Samuel was talking about the Mongolian province, if I'm not mistaken. They continued to mine Bitcoin. I think it is a lot rich in rainforest and hydroelectric power over there. So yeah, it wasn't like a cocaine trafficker in the jungle. This, still large facilities ran by F2 Pool. All right. Well, Cassius, they pulled this. It looks like a little bit of reversal, but I want to ask you, there's probably a lot of people who are happy that China banned crypto. Because if you remember, they banned it in early 21, kind of near the Bitcoin top. Do you think they've done more harm or more good for their citizens when it comes to them, forcing them to sell crypto? Because they did have them sell near the top.
Well, first, that means we got to assume that the Chinese government cares about their citizens. So if we're assuming that that's the case, then basically, I think pulling it from China would be bad. Potentially bringing it back, even if it only is to Hong Kong, I think is a good sentiment for the citizens of China. It ran off a lot of the miners. Like you said, some are still there, but they got back up in other countries as well. So I don't know if it was bad for the overall Chinese community to be able to not mine Bitcoin anymore. I guess they banned it, but I don't know if they use VPNs or what, but there's probably a way that they can still access Bitcoin if they're savvy enough. So I think that is definitely a good thing that they're talking about bringing it back, even if it is just to Hong Kong.
All right. Well, we'll see how this plays out. Hey, if they unban it just in time for the run up to the bull run, hey, I might be changing my Bitcoin price target. I would go above 100K at that point. All right. Well, that's a billion people. There's a lot of money. Just even Hong Kong could be a nice influx of volume there. All right. Well, let's talk a little XRP. I know this isn't the morning show. They talk about XRP every single day over there. We don't mention it as often, maybe even once a month. So we're going to try to do it because this time it's pretty big news. We have Brad Garlinghouse. He's the CEO of Ripple, the foundation behind XRP coin here. And look, he has a bold prediction on when this is going to end, folks.
Guess it'll be in weeks, not months. There's some decisions that happened last week that you may have read about, that the judge ruled against the SEC's effort to redact certain information.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. Yeah, so of course, talking about the Hinman emails here, and this is saying no longer months. We're now in the timeline of weeks. This is the second prediction saying, around the June area. I think Deaton also came out, and I believe he said that about a month ago. It was going to be looking at the early June here. Of course, Ripple, they're accusing the SEC of causing multi-billions dollars worth of damages to the XRP holders. This court case started all the way back in 2020 in December here. And this is after the SEC's motion to seal it's the Hinman documents. And Hinman possibly said, hey, that ETH, probably not a security there. They are expected to be revealed to the public, the documents, on June 13th per court order. Of course, I'm not a lawyer. Maybe there's going to be some sort of final motion at the midnight hour. So just be careful. We'll see here. But Firoz, I'm just going to lead with you. Do you have any predictions when it comes to the XRP case? Should we take Brad's comments here with a grain of salt, or are you taking to the bank? Where are you at with this?
Man, I think I've been waiting almost 3 years for that. Oh, it's going to be resolved in the next 3-week talk. I mean, how many times have we heard this, right? And of course, I don't want to get my hopes up. I have a small little bag for transparency of XRP. Who doesn't, I suppose? But where do I see it set? I personally feel that it's most probably going to be a settlement more than anything else. And again, this is, I think, one thing that we need to sort of take into consideration here is that it's a big thing. If XRP wins the case, actually, it opens up the floodgates for many other crypto projects out there, which, takes off the uncertainty, the doubt that we have in this place. The sort of regulation is bogged down so much that people don't know which way to turn when they're planning on innovating in this space, just in case they get slapped with a fine later on. So personally, my view is it will most likely end up being a settlement, and I think it'll be a settlement more towards in the favor of XRP than anything else.
Okay, all right. Well, late settlement. Am I watching an episode of Suits? I don't know what's happening here. Sam, I might ask you about the charts in 1 minute, but Cassius, I want to ask you about this first. Do you think Gensler will feel the political pressure that could eventually lead to his being fired if the SEC loses? Will there be a drum roll saying, hey, we got to get this guy out of here, crash that symbol?
Oh, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, they've had this case going for years. And 2021 was the first time I went to Apex, which was the XRP Developers Conference. And I was hearing the same thing back then too. Any week now, it's going to get settled. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But if there is a settlement or any kind of resolution, I don't care if they say who won or lost. All I want is some regulatory clarity, something that shows me what did they say, was the outcome, why this was judged this way or that way. And other proof of stake protocols are going to then, take note of that. So I definitely think it's got bigger implications than just for Ripple. But I think kind of no matter what happens, when there's a conclusion to it, I think the price is going up. Not financial advice.
All right. Well, let's talk about the price. Sam, real quick, we do have a super chat. Liberty and Trust, save me your predictions. Settlement will never end, unfortunately. Well, let's hope there is going to be an end eventually. All right. Well, Sam, what is the price looking like on the macro? I mean, do we have some upside targets? Do we have some downside targets? What are you looking at here?
Thank you for asking. Can I throw a point to the crowd? They're so funny. Someone says, you don't do Bitcoin. Bitcoin does you. And another one was Biden does too. Bitcoin.
Anything above 20x leverage, it will do you hard. It will do you real hard.
I just think you guys are funny today. So the 3-day chart, right? It's looking nice to me with lack of bearish momentum. I was, it's as easy as it is just looking at how big that hill was, big hill. And I'm looking at the histogram on the MACD. The MACD is the worst indicator to use by itself. It's latent and it's like an old grandma, but it's good to use as a visualization in comparison to how much the bears have power. Because look, they put it down here, they put it down here. For some reason, the bears are a little soft here, right? Compared to the last 2 times. And previous, resistance should be a good support zone. We do have a gap here, so we may come back down and bounce off 38 one more time, but it looking like we're trying to create some type of bottom at 38. This is like a falling wedge that has like a 68% chance of coming out of this. And, you're getting a curve up. You're pretty in a good spot on the RSI. This is the 3-day chart. It takes a long time. This could be 2 to 3 weeks. The sad thing I think about what we're seeing now and the levels, right? You got to get back above 57. It gets above 57. It's gapping up to 71, which is fun. It went back really down that far. So whenever you see something move fast like that, they call it like a smooth move if you want to laugh, it can come back up just as fast. And it almost, if you flip it upside down in your head a little bit, has some Bart Simpson vibes, double bottom ideas, right? Like you would short that with me. It doesn't look too fun. So, some I'm looking at, and it has somewhat, I'm not saying too much, but somewhat of that Sammy Cup and Hattie. You can see it did a shoulder, head and a shoulder. And what I love about going back in time and just seeing the measured move should have been right there from the neckline, and that's basically what you got. So I love how TA plays out like that when you see
Yeah,
it.
and
So
I
yeah,
see two very highly technical things playing out. One is the uneven butt cheeks of SBF, and then the other one I see is the Ben Cowan hairline
shout
chart,
out to Jake
which is why
Casper.
I took the hat off as a show of solidarity. All right,
I
we
think-
love Into the Cryptoverse here.
One thing
I'm
I want
sorry,
to say, even if
that's Dan.
even if, yeah, but he's funny, Jason Casper's hilarious. But even if you get the end of this case and they settle, I have this eerily feeling like it's not going to give us the actual clarity that we want. Everyone's like,
Well-
it's going to bring so much clarity. It's going to be clarity.
Sam, I'm going to
Yeah.
come back in a couple questions. I want to ask you about a XRP Bitcoin chart, but first, Firoz, no pun intended. If XRP wins, will there be ripple effects across the industry that might, permeate all the other coins here?
100%. If they win, I think it's a very positive thing for crypto at the end of the day. It gives you that clarity, it gives you that regulation that everybody really is, looking for. And when I talk about everybody, I mean other crypto projects, because that's what everybody wants. We want clarity, we want regulation, so we can get on, innovate, and do some great stuff in crypto rather than being always afraid that we're going to be bankrupt 6 months down the line.
Yeah, wake up, I guess I can't access my magic internet
exactly.
money. Same question, different side of the coin here. Cassius, will there be any ripple effects if they lose? What will that look like?
Potentially. It depends on what they say when they lose. But I don't think it'll be a good thing. If it's like a clear loss, like everyone knows, like, bam, they just got slapped hard. That's going to be bad. It's going to be scary for a lot of proof of stake protocols, different tokens, that are on, Ethereum or any other blockchains. I think it could be bad if they lose badly, but we would really have to see what the actual verbiage is.
Yeah, I would expect coin stock to go down, about everything to go down. But the main thing that might move price-wise, not percentage at least, but Sam, I want to ask you about XRP winning. Will those profits be rolled into Bitcoin, do you think? Because the XRP Bitcoin trading pair, very popular trading pair, at least years ago, maybe less so today. But do you see these XRP whales? I know some are thinking it's going to $589, but are these people going to hold on to that, or are they going to trade it in and get their Satoshis?
Bitcoin's hot right now. There's a feeling more that Bitcoin's like it's the hottest it's ever been in my humble opinion. Like as far as general public thinking about they would buy more Bitcoin. People are loving their altcoins. You know what I mean? I'm still stacking altcoins on the low too, but I'm still buying a couple $500, $1,000, just buying Bitcoin every few days. Every time there's a nasty dip, every time it's getting low into these areas, and so XRP is funny, man. I've been in XRP for like 3 years now. I have a little bit of a bag to disclose as well. And it's just, you wait and you wait and you wait. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin did a pump first. Even if they get the settlement, I feel like the settlement is really kind of for them in a way. And it'll open the door for some cryptocurrencies. And thank God they get it, because it's going to just dispel fear. That's the one thing we need. It just dispels fear. But I still don't believe we're going to get the clarity that we're asking for until we get new people in to the actual position that we're in. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem to change after this. The person looks pretty stubborn and pretty set in their ways. So, but if you look at the chart of XRP Bitcoin, you can see it's pretty low right now on the 3-day chart. It has a ways to go. Got a little bit of a cup and handle there, right? But to me, it will probably just follow Bitcoin and kind of shadow the same movements. Like if we get a nasty dump in Bitcoin, XRP is likely to go down. And if we get a nasty big pump in Bitcoin, I don't think XRP is going to pump as hard as Bitcoin at first. I think eventually it will, but that's going to take, I think we're talking like September and October. But, it could be wrong, but that's usually, Bitcoin has to shine first, especially as we get into the halving. And then that money comes out from the big markets into Bitcoin, and then it starts trickling back down into the mid caps, low caps, and then into the memes. This meme season we're having right now is a little unique compared to most, but it also is the drive of people that have been around a long time, and the bear market's been more interesting than ever. So,
all right, if they do say they just won tomorrow, would you expect that XRP Bitcoin trading pair to get out of this range, or would it still have a lot of resistance?
I mean, it will probably get an initial spike, of course. Probably break out of that top point of control there. What is it? The Satoshi level is 2680, right? So, but still, I mean, that's like, that's nice. That's 900 on 17. That's like a nice 60, probably 58% gain or something like that. But I mean, I just don't, I don't know, man. I don't see this like explosion to $1 for XRP out of nowhere because they win the case. Maybe I'm just being more bearish, and I'd love it, be honest. I want it more than anyone else. I'm just feeling the realism of the situation. It's highly unlikely to have an altcoin go that hard. I think you see a spike, but I don't know how big. I don't think it's going to do anything amazing.
Well,
Maybe
we were at 1,000 likes, and it is now plummeted to 208. Maybe we get 42 more, get to 250. If you're watching and it's not live, hey, let's get up to 500 maybe. I know we can get there. But that
Well,
is
yes.
all we
Yeah.
have time for. Hey, I said it's probably not going to $589. That made some people upset. So, hey, you never know. You never know. XRP, we're all rooting for you to win. I, too, have a small bag. I think we all do. All right, but it looks like Firoz ended up taking it home. It was a really good one. Firoz, feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts and maybe a reading recommendation.
Sure. Well, look, thanks for having me on. Thanks for having everybody on. If you're not following, then drop Sam a follow, drop Cage follow, and obviously drop Around the Blockchain a follow. Smash up that like. And all I'm going to say really is we're less than a year away from the halving, folks. So if you haven't started doing your research, DYOR right now, and that does not mean do you own Ripple. It means do your own research and start building it up. Start building it up and start getting ready, guys, because the bull run's coming, and now's the opportunity to start preparing for that.
Yeah, if you don't know what the Bitcoin halving is, now is the time to learn. It was one of the first things that got me excited about blockchain. So, hey, I wish I was you right now. It's like the first time I heard Travis Scott Butterfly Effect. That's all we have time for today, folks. Until next time. The song was honestly Desperado by the Eagles. All right, that's all we got. DZ out. I'll stop rambling now. Hit that like button, folks.